Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Love and Light Show, where your special guest is Conny Lee, and we're going to be talking about the mom-ino effect. I love it. It's like the domino effect with moms. And I love it because it's so in line with the Love and Light Show, which is all about being the change and having so many amazing ripple effects put out into the world. So I love that you created the mom-ino effect. It's so cool. So if you guys are feeling like you need to find your purpose, if you're in a daytime job that's 9 to 5 and you're not really enjoying it and you're feeling stuck and just like kind of hate your life where it's at and you want something more, you know that there's something more for you and you're ready for it now, this episode is definitely for you. And stay tuned to the end because we actually have a really awesome experience at the end planned for you that'll help you delve into yourself and get more clarity on who you truly are. So I'm really excited for that. And be sure to say hi to us as you pop on live. We're on the Be Live platform, so we can't see you as you pop on live until you say hi. Definitely say hi on the replay as well. I love to engage with you guys after the show too. So this is the Love and Light Show, where we bring you every single week different light workers and healers and spiritual entrepreneurs and amazing badass people who are heart-centered, who are doing amazing work in the world, so that we can connect you with your ideal healers and light workers and amazing people who will mentor and guide you through your healing journey, so you can learn different tips and tricks and tools that'll support you on your whole life journey, so that you can truly be the change you want to see in the world, and you can do all this amazing work for yourself, make sure that you're full and your cup's doing really, really well, and you can give from the overflow to the people in your life, your friends and your family members and your children and your grandchildren and your community. And by doing all this, we're really making a big positive change in the entire world. Those mom-ino effects. I love it. So I'm Laura McPhee. I'm a joyful goddess, speaker, healer, and coach, and I love to empower women through self-love and care to their dream happy lives, so they can look in the mirror and love who they see and let go of all those negative voices in their head that have been holding them back, so that they can truly shine their light, give from that overflow of their cup when they're so vibrant and joyful in their life. And a really exciting way I'm doing that is through a free masterclass tonight. So it'll be at 7:30 Atlantic, 6:30 Eastern, and I'll be sure to put the comments and a link for you guys to sign up if you haven't already. Quite a few people have joined, so I'm super excited for that free masterclass about how to live a joyful life. We're going to go through a really awesome meditation in it as well to really connect you to your true authentic self, the unbelievable radiance and beauty that is you, so that you can really truly increase the love that you have for yourself on a daily basis, and a lot of other awesome tips and healing downloads that'll also align you with your most joyful life too. So I'm super excited for that. Be sure to check that out if it's resonating with you. And we actually have a winner from last week. We were so in the amazing empath conversation, and I felt really called to rewarding people who were sharing out the video. So the person who shared it out, who was the winner, is Sharon K. Barron. So she won a 30-minute theta healing session, and I actually really enjoyed doing that. So everyone who wants to share it out, if you feel like this is a message that will resonate with your tribe, that there's someone in it that is going to help them expand their reality and have a better life. If you feel like this message is definitely going to help someone, definitely feel free to share it out. And I'll be doing another draw next week for another 30-minute theta healing session. So I'm super excited about that. And I'm very excited that Connie's here joining us today. How are you doing today, Connie?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for the show, and thank you for doing everything you're doing as well.
Thank you. I'm so happy to have you on here.
Yes.
And Connie is a career life strategist. So she loves to help women, especially moms who are in a career they don't really like, that 9 to 5 job that's not really resonating with them, let go of what's not serving them, find their purpose, and actually move forward in reality. So I love that you're doing that with moms, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about your story and how you're doing that.
Yes, thank you. So I found myself in a job that was not aligned with who I am, and so I was pretty unhappy in it.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, then I was also not being the mom I wanted to be, because I felt like I wanted to be more fulfilled, more more family focused.
Yeah.
And I had been doing resume writing for a long time, kind of on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of took that to another level, where I was just like, well, I can help people strategize on how they can leave their jobs so they can find more fulfillment and figure out what their purpose is, because I just felt this little nudge within, just being like, there's something bigger for you. Go and get it. And so,
awesome. I love
yes.
that. That's so cool. And Tom gave us a heart. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
So how do you help people get that clarity, find what their purpose is when they're like, I don't know what the more is, but there's more to life here?
Yes, there is, I believe, like a lot of inner work. I have a lot of exercises and journaling prompts that I do with clients. We also do a narrative assessment. So through their own stories and past experiences, we can like pull out what their strengths and what their desires are and open up possibilities. So it's a pretty cool way of doing it. And then we start to look at things like mindset and their self-worth, because that was one of my biggest struggles, is that I didn't believe I deserved a better life than what I had, because I had done actually fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, this is all there is for me, right? Like I've kind of climbed up and I just need to keep climbing, right? Mm-hmm. And then, but just seeing that there's so many other people in the world that are doing what I wanted to be doing, mm-hmm. really helped me to open my mind to the possibilities. So it's basically just that, like seeing that there are other possibilities and figuring out what works for you. One of the biggest things that I find people are afraid of doing in transitioning is that they're afraid of like, I can't just leave my job, but you don't have to just do it all today, right? Like you don't have to hand in your resignation today. So yeah, like plan it, be comfortable with it, and it has to work for you, right? And yeah.
I completely agree. And I'm not a mom, but I definitely had that kind of transition out of the corporate world where I'm like, okay, like I get that this is causing me quite a bit of misery and this isn't what I want to be doing, and always putting my happiness off to the next milestone isn't working for me. So I got onto my spiritual journey and decided, like I don't want to do the corporate world. Like I went from in my head being terrified of missing a deadline because of all the overtime I was doing and all the extra work that I had been given when I was promoted and not all my job had been backfilled. I had like so much stress in my life, and I was just like paranoid that I'd like miss something. And that's why I started going to someone, because I was like, I'm staying up all like hours of the night working or like freaking out about my deadline. So I'm like, I need to stop doing this. So then I did a theta healing session and it was like magic. And I'm like, I don't know what you did, but I need more of this in my life, because I was able to like sleep all week and like not freak out all the time about all the things happening. And then I was able to be like, like I don't want to be a different person at home with like my Laura mask that's like fun and wanting to do more spiritual things versus my like super corporate accounting mask of like, I don't believe in crystals and all these things. And like, I just like have some pretty things at my desk that like make me think to be positive and love myself and stuff. Like I went from the complete other opposite end being like, I don't want to do this. Like I'm totally quitting this, and then transitioning to another less demanding job as I did my own inner work on the side and got all the skills that I needed to move forward in what I'm doing full time now, which is helping people, and it's 100% my purpose. But at the time when all the like stuff was kind of like happening in the background of like my life falling apart, I was just like, this is ridiculous. I don't know what this is going to be, but like,
yes, exactly. I was the same way. Like because it was such against like all of my strengths, like it was a very technical job, and I'm like a creative kind of spiritual, I love personal development. I really struggled. Like every day I was just like, crap, what mistakes am I going to make? And so I totally get that.
So how do you help people change their mindset when they come to you? I know that a big thing for me was personal development. So like having a coach and a healer and like a counselor, because I was going through a lot of stuff. I was like, people on my team, that was amazing. And then I was always listening to like audiobooks so that I was getting other paradigms in my head and other ways to shift and be like, I'm getting better and better every day in every way. And I'm going to take a deep breath when I get really stressed, and like all these other tools that helped me shift out of that old paradigm.
Yes. So that's another thing. That's one thing I like really recommend people do as well, is that they start listening to podcasts and also, like trying to talk to people that have already been in their shoes. But for like my own clients, it's also a thing of like knowing what they've accomplished, because I'll get them to write like all of their achievements in life, right?
Okay.
And then they can refer back to that when they are feeling, because a lot of people, so as a resume writer, people would say, I would ask them like, what did you achieve at this last job? And they were like, nothing, I just did my job. But there's more to that, right? Like, there has to be something that you were doing right that you continued being employed, right?
Yes.
And so really just acknowledging your wins and what your achievements are. And then to shift that like mindset, I just ask them to really start to see what they love about themselves, like what they're really strong at, and continue to like develop those strengths, and start focusing on the things that like make them feel good about themselves, right?
Yes. And I feel like that's a big gap with women, especially, that women can write down 1,000,002 things that are their weaknesses, or that they failed at, or that they're wrong, or like that they're not doing. Because like that self-doubt voice tends to have a lot of power, unfortunately, with a lot of women. But knowing our strengths and listing them off tends to be harder. So I've actually gotten quite a few people to just list their strengths. So I'd be interested, for the people who are catching the replay or on live, if you want to tell us at least one of your strengths. We want to acknowledge your wins, your awesome things that are about you. So don't feel like you're like gloating. Be like, this is the safe space for me to say awesome things about myself. So definitely tell us what one of your wins or strengths are.
Yes. And we downplay a lot of our stuff, right? Like even when we achieve something big, it's just kind of like we brush it off as if like it's not big enough, right?
Right. Yeah.
So just learning to celebrate all the little wins on the way as well.
Yes, definitely. Because we're always in the middle. Like life is a process. That was a big thing that I found that I'd always catch myself doing, is wanting to get to the next milestone. So I'll be happy when.
Yes.
And then by the time I got there, I already had like 10 million other ideas and goals and intentions that I wanted to achieve. So I wasn't really celebrating what I was doing as much as putting my focus and attention on what hadn't been done yet, and my next levels and my next breakthroughs. So I feel like that's something that's really exciting to focus on instead.
Yeah. And having somebody that points them out to you, right? Like having somebody to say, because even for myself, like there's times that people are like, that is a huge win. And I'm like, oh, really? Or even the other day, my daughter, I was talking to her. I've done so much like personal development work on myself. And I was talking to her about how she needs to like learn to protect her energies and set boundaries and stuff. And she was like, but Mom, you're the one with the good energy. You're the one that's like positive and can see like the good in people and stuff. And I was like, wow, like you actually noticed that? But I've worked really hard to get to that, right? So
exactly.
Yeah.
Very cool. So then how do you help women with their purpose? The ones who are like, I don't know what there is, but I know I'm like not happy here. It's just not working where I'm at.
Yeah. So that was me for a long time as well. And for me, it was that I actually did know, but I didn't want to admit it because I was afraid people would judge me. And so getting comfortable with being like your authentic self is one of the biggest things, right? Is that like finding your tribe and aligning with who you truly are. And then, and so then you can, when you start to like know who you truly are, then I think your purpose kind of shows up differently. Like it shows up in a way because you're admitting who you are. And that's one of like the exercises I love doing with people is like, what's the deep, dark secret that you're not sharing with anybody that like you might even be afraid to admit to yourself, right? But like just write it down and let it just be known, right? So yeah.
I love that.
There are a lot of like, I do a lot of journaling stuff too, and writing prompts for people to start to figure out what their purpose is. Sometimes the block is more that they're like, how would I monetize this, right? Like, so
And I find that when people get clear on their purpose and their value and their like unique energetic imprint that they have in this world to like share with others, the money comes. Like people find like 1,000,002 excuses for why it won't work versus like, this is my desire. This is the gift that I've been given. Of course, I'm here to share it with the world. Like we live in 2018. Like there's the most random things that people are making money at right now. Like extraordinary things that didn't exist 10 years ago. So like those excuses are like out the window. They're not true at all. And it's just like little self-doubt things that are popping up as fears like, oh, well, how will I make money at it? Like I made my own title. I made happiness coach and healer up just because it was like, this is what you are now. I'm like, okay, I'm going to trust that and go with that. And like, I had so much guidance from the universe being like, this is your next step, that I trusted it and was like, okay, this is going to be a thing. Like, people barely know what life coaching is in this area, but I'm going to call myself a happiness coach and healer. Sure.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
worked. Like, just trust the guidance that you're getting, I feel like is a huge thing for people to learn.
Yes. So I wasn't, even though I was spiritual, I wasn't very intuitive when I first started my like journey of trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like learning to like tap into my intuition is something that I keep trying to grow.
Yes. And it's like a muscle, like just like going to the gym and you grow your biceps, like intuition is a feeling that you need to keep trusting and tapping into and checking into yourself in order to grow.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you do it, like the other day, it's such a random example, but the other day, my brother-in-law lost his glasses outside and he just kept like walking around looking for them. And so at first I just kind of let him keep looking. And then eventually I was like, okay, fine, I'll go and help you. And so I went outside and I was just like, something inside was just like, it's near a windowsill. So I walked around like all the windows and it was right there. Like within 2 minutes, I found his glasses. And so I was like, wow, if I just keep trusting those nudges, who knows where that would lead me, right?
Yeah. It's so cool. And I think when I started, like I was at a office building that had like 4 different elevators and stuff. And a book that I had read at the time was like, even the most random stuff like elevators or like what's going to happen next, like let your intuition kind of guide you on those little things. And like, it's a 0 risk factor. Like you stand near the elevator you think is going to come first. And then it does come first because you trust that nudge. You trust that you're like connected to the world in a bigger way. And like worst case scenario, you're standing in front of the not opening elevator and you move to the opening elevator. Like it's not a bad thing. So you can find all these like little things like, ooh, I lost my keys. Where were those keys? Or like getting to your door. I find that this happens a lot. I used to like triple check things like crazy and be very like OCD and controlling when I leave the house and stuff and want to make sure that I like have everything I need. And like, I've literally been like opening the door and it's like, oh, you need this. Or like, you need an umbrella or you need this or that. And it's like, okay. And trusting that, it's like, oh my gosh, I did need that. I did need to bring my jacket, even though I didn't think it was going to be cold in this place that I was going to be. And like the most random stuff happens when you trust that and you allow space in your life for that intuition to come in.
Yes. Yes. One of the exercises I love doing with my daughter is like, we'll give each other like a list of 5 things that we could be thinking of. And then just getting her to like close her eyes and trust whatever comes up that's what I'm thinking of, right? Like,
cool.
just, trying to get her to hone in on her intuition earlier than what I did.
Awesome. I love that. And we got some hearts from Rosina. Yay.
Yay.
Eagle. Hello. Interesting name. So do you want to walk us through some of those journal prompts that'll help people get more in tune with themselves? So if you're catching the replay, guys, pause, get a pen and paper. Everyone else, just think of it in your head, write it in your phone. If you have paper nearby, definitely do that. Just give yourself this gift of being able to connect to yourself, your true authentic self, a little bit deeper and get that clarity that you need. So I encourage you to take this time.
Yes, sorry, my phone's ringing.
No worries.
Okay, so I have 2 exercises, and the first one is writing your own eulogy.
Ooh.
And yeah, this one's such a powerful exercise because it gives you an idea of how you want to make people feel, what mark you want to leave in the world, and then what you want to be known for. And so it just kind of, it's kind of like you can reverse engineer from there, right? Knowing what you want to achieve, right? So then the other one is kind of a writing exercise, but it's like, if time, money, and resources were no longer an issue, what would you do with your time? What would you do with your days? And then what do you currently believe about your abilities and about money and life and love? And what would you have to believe in order to make the first question come true? Yeah.
Very cool. So, I love that.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So, do we have time to talk about the MOM-ino effect quickly?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. So the MOM-ino effect is there's a group, and it's just for women and moms to help each other, like encourage each other and support each other. So basically, what I believe is that if moms heal their past and then they start to create the change within themselves, then it like yeah, like ripple effects out into the
Yeah.
world, right? So
Mhm.
I have found that in my own life, because when I was working in corporate, my daughter was like, you never have time for me, and you never spend, like, you're always busy and stuff, right?
All right.
But now she's like, it's cool that you go after your own dreams, like you have all this courage and
Aww.
stuff. And so it's just this neat thing that's happening, right? And then
Mhm.
doing this work, I can help to create change amongst like my community,
Yeah.
and that'll help to them to change. And so it's just this whole domino effect.
I love
So yeah.
it.
Yes.
So cool. Thank you so much for sharing and for creating so much space, because I'm totally like having the vision of that too, where like women have so much influence over the entire world. Like we're literally the mothers of everyone. Like
Yeah.
everyone has a mother. So by women being empowered, we can literally shift our entire reality by doing that, affect the changes that we want to see in our family and our friends and our community, and like put our like shining light out there to like radiate that like unconditional love and this healing energy, and like creating that space for everyone to do what they need to get to a better place in their lives so that they can live their like purpose and their desires. So I love so much that you're doing this. Like I love it so much. Like I'm not a mom yet, but I'm like, yes, like this is totally in alignment with like everything that's going to heal the world.
Yes, yes. And I think, like, honestly, it's just that I believe like we only get one chance, you know? We never know when our time is up. So it's just like live fully, right? Like just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. And it's true because like even the like ridiculous again like stories that we have in our head, like oh like corporate safe and all these things, but like there are times and like cycles in the world where there are mass, and like the things that you felt were such a big thing, and like your safety net and like the security that you were feeling in a corporate job can go away. Like there's nothing
Yeah.
guaranteed in life. So why
Yes.
not pursue your passion and follow literally your higher power? So be that God, creator, source, energy, the universe. If you're being called to some greater thing, trust that it'll work out. Like I've had some scary parts of being an entrepreneur, but like the knowingness of like this is 100% what I'm meant to do is always so much stronger. So like
Yeah.
when people step into their power in that way, and I work with a lot of light workers and have so many light worker friends and people who are on these entrepreneurial paths, it's like when you trust it, it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually like starting the stress and everything from my job was really like starting to wear down on my health.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't been like this healthy in years.
Yeah.
So it's like this whole thing, right? Like all of your wellness and
Yeah.
feeling in alignment and the way that you like wake up in the morning and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It all changes. So
Definitely. So
yeah.
cool. I love that. And it's like little things that you don't even perceive to see. Like I remember when I was doing it, I was starting to feel like kind of selfish. Like when I was on my spiritual journey and I'm like, I'm spending a lot of time on myself. Like I used to be like my family's savior and give, give, give all the time. And all of a sudden I was spending all this time and energy on myself. And I was like, am I being like the most selfish like bitch right now? Like I'm not like helping everyone with their stuff. Like they get that I was like headed towards a burnout and like that wouldn't have been healthy, but like like had a bunch of stories around that. But me taking that space for myself, like I was able to influence other people in my life. Like I had an aunt who I didn't realize was even like aware of any of the stuff I was doing, who came and was like, "Oh, I'm doing this and I'm reading this now," and like all these other things. And I'm like, "Wow!" And like other people in my life came to me and were like, "Okay, so like when you quit your job, like what were you doing?" Like people started coming to me when they saw me embody this difference and this change. They came to me with questions. And I was also a little shift in my head where at the beginning I was like sharing all the stuff that I was doing, but not necessarily at the right point for them. So I was like
Right.
learning all these things and having all these like amazing books to recommend to people. And I was like, do this thing, and I'll help you. And like, if they weren't ready for it, then I was actually creating resistance to their next step. So you can
Right.
only help the people who are looking for that help. So that's like a little caveat on the journey where they're coming to you and they're like, okay, you're seeming happy, like you're different. Like, what did you do when this happened? then you can give them like all the tools and resources because they're asking for it. So that's something that I kind of learned, and it was very interesting because when my mentor told me that I've actually put some people in resistance, I was like, oh my God, no, like I just wanted to help them quicker. So like, that's just a learning thing that happens on people's journeys sometimes.
Right. Yeah. And actually, I was going to comment on the happiness coach because we're all like looking to be happy, right? Like that's the thing. Like that is pretty cool.
Thank you. Very cool. So can you share with everyone how they can connect with you after the show?
Yes. So my website is connylee.com, CONNYLEE.com. And you can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and so any way really.
Awesome. That sounds great. Yeah, if the MOM-ino effect is like totally your jam and you're like, oh my gosh, this exists, definitely get in her group. I highly, highly recommend that. And can you put the links in the comments afterwards too so that people can just click on it really conveniently?
Oh, yes, I will do that.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you guys for tuning in to the Love and Light Show. I'd also like to hear how your eulogy is. You can just say if it went like good or how that experience was. You don't need to like type out your whole eulogy unless you're feeling called and you really, really want to share that. But definitely let us know how those journal prompts go. I'm really excited to see any insights you maybe got from that experience. So feel free to comment even if you're catching the replay. And thank you so much for sharing all the awesomeness that you have in your world, Connie. I very much appreciate you having the space for women to grow and develop in, and that you're embodying it and being that change for other moms who can be like, yeah, like I don't need to like suffer in this. Like Connie's doing it, I can do it. Like having that amazing face and shining your light. So thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. You guys,
thank you, Laura.
Shine your light. Thank you. I encourage you guys to shine your light and share this with anyone who you feel would need it in their life. If you have a mom in your life who's like, yeah, she needs some extra support, or she like has this like drive within her and you can like almost see that like spark's gonna like die out or it needs to be ignited to like burn again, to have that passion in her life, definitely share it with her. You can even like send these messages to people privately. Sometimes people are like, how do you get it like not tagging people but still share it? You can actually just like take the URL and like send it to people in Messenger. So sometimes people like to do it that way instead. So definitely get the message out there to anyone who needs it. And I encourage you guys to go to that masterclass if you're feeling called to tonight. There's also a replay if you're not available at that time, so you guys can learn more tips and tricks and tools to live your most joyful life. So I am wishing you guys so much love and light, and hope you have an awesome weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.